right, boom. Welcome back. Good morning, my beautiful people. Today is Saturday. I believe it's May 17th, 18th, something like that. I notice when you get to a certain age, the days just like roll together. It's like I'll figure out what day it is as I get there, unless I got something scheduled, you know. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. New subscribers, welcome. My name is Gabe the Great, and I'm here to introduce you to the Second American Revolution. Today I want to talk about one thing that I've been talking about, which is that we need a constitutional convention. And I genuinely believe a new constitution will solve everything, okay? A new constitution will literally solve Americans' problems for the next 20 years, right? Here's why, okay? The question becomes, okay, what is a constitution? Why have a constitution? What are the situations and circumstances that warrant a new constitution? Okay, and how does that apply to all this? Okay, so here's where I'm coming from. I'm going to try to make this simple. I can go deep, right? But before I go deep, I want to go simple, okay? So very simply put, when you have a government that refuses to obey the law and refuses to enforce the law, you have no more law. You only have enforcement. That's all that you have. All you have is totalitarian rule. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says. It doesn't matter what the procedure says. When you have people in government who are going to go against the procedure, go against the law, and just do whatever they want, and they're not going to enforce it against other people who break the law, you don't have a law, right? I explained this in another video. The whole purpose of government and civil institutions is so that we don't have to resort to uncivil means, right? I talk about this with my daughter. My daughter got, my nonverbal autistic child got abused by her special education teacher, Paula McCown. I say this all the time. I'm not making a threat. I'm not putting hands on nobody. But hypothetically speaking, if we were to squabble up, I could beat the brakes off the bitch, right? She's an old woman in her 70s who abused my nonverbal autistic child. The whole purpose of the civil institutions is so that we don't have uncivil means, because if we use uncivil means, then everyone can just do whatever they want. The purpose of the rule of law is to go, hey, when this happens, here's what we do. Here's the procedure. The problem, though, is when you have people in the government who aren't going to obey the law, who's going to enforce the law? Now, when people break the law, who enforces it? This is what evil people know that good people don't. Good people swear that they're entitled to righteousness or swear that they're entitled to a good outcome. This is why mass manipulators love using Christianity, because Christianity is this narcissistic religion that tells people, hey man, when you die, as long as you believe the right thing, like you don't have to do anything, you don't have to accomplish anything, because you can't accomplish anything. As long as you believe, as long as you're on the right team when you die, you will get all these blessings when you die. Or as long as you're on God's side, he will bless your life with all this stuff. You don't have to do anything. This is why manipulators love that. They love feeding into the ego of other people. Egotistical people get ahead by feeding into our egos, right? And so everyone thinks that they're just entitled to a good government. And so when you have a corrupt government, Americans don't know what to do, right? Americans don't know what to do. So what I'm trying to help Americans see is like, yo, one, nobody's following the Constitution right now. No one's following it. And you need to understand that you can't just bring a next guy in and just start following the Constitution. The Trump administration has eroded many of the civil institutions, right? You can't just continue forward like Democrats are being delusional. We can't just go into 2026 like the past decade didn't happen. We can't just concede power back over to you guys, because when we did, you didn't stop Trump the second time. So how do we know something worse isn't going to come, right? The other thing about this is that the the United States Constitution is one big gaslight. It's one big gaslight. The Constitution, the United States Constitution explicitly excludes women. It excludes poor white men. Obviously, it excludes blacks and indigenous people. But the Constitution written in the 1700s was not written for a diverse population of 330 million people. This is why you're having cracks at the seams, because you have this group of people who are like, yo, this is a white Christian nation. Because in a practical way, when you look at how practical life worked in the United States of America, in the beginning, that's what it was. Land owning white and Christian. That's who run the country. And so now here everybody is in 2025, like, yo, we want that country. That was the country that the founding fathers originally founded. Even though they talked about equality, even though they talked about freedom of religion, even though they talked about all these things, on a practical level, slavery. On a practical level, no child labor laws. On a practical level, poor white men couldn't vote. On a practical level, women couldn't participate in the political process, or have rights, or get a job, or own a house, or own property, right? Like, that's what it was on a practical level. On a practical level, the United States Constitution wasn't written for me. It wasn't written for most of y'all watching this video. And so what we've had to do, and I explained this in my manifesto, equality was never the goal. The goal was never equality. Equality was the language that the founding fathers used, that minority classes were able to use against the founding fathers. The only reason why black people have rights is because we manipulated the manipulators. The only reason why women have rights is because they manipulated the manipulators. Same thing with people who advocated for child labor laws and people with special needs and all these things. The only reason why any of these people had laws or have rights is because they were able to manipulate the words of the Constitution. This is why I'm saying, like, if we just get a new constitution where all of us, this diverse population of humanity, if we come together and go, we are going to build a country based upon real principles, and we do it in 4K. The reason why so many manipulators, so many narcissists, so many power hungry people are able to manipulate us is because they can sit here and debate originalism during a time period when they didn't have cameras, during a time period when they didn't have Wi-Fi. If we establish a constitution right now for a diverse population of people, right? One, future generations are never going to have to debate originalism again, ever. It'll be in 4K. There'll be video. Secondly, we are going to be ahead of the pack. What do I mean by this? One, we've depleted a lot of the resources on Earth. But two, even if we didn't need to go someplace else, which I don't think we need to go someplace else, a different planet, human beings want to go to a different planet. I don't know, and I don't know that I believe that aliens exist. But let's say that there's some other intelligent life out there. Us going out into the unknown universe as a planet of 160 something distinct nations is stupid. That is a stupid plan. So what the United States of America needs to do is show that for the next stage of human evolution, which is space, you can build a civilization of people of different diverse backgrounds. That Christians and Muslims and blacks and whites and rich and poor, that we can all come together under a shared set of values, and that we can create a society where the best people get to the top and not just the people with capital. We can create an economic system that rewards meaning and pushing society forward. And we have a government where everybody in the government, one, obeys the law, and two, enforces the law. We also can create a government and a constitution that keeps on step with the culture. I talk about this in the manifesto. Culture is always ahead of government. culture always dictates justice before government. And the problem that we have right now is everybody, all the evil people have figured out, we can drag people back. We can drag people back into a time period to where the rules are already defined. We already have mastered that. We already know how to do that. Once we get rid of Trump, and again, I don't know how people want to understand this. Criminals don't follow the law. If you put a criminal in charge of the law, the only way to stop that criminal is to stop him from existing. There is no other option. And I'm so sick of everybody, all the political pundits, all the news outlets just being afraid to say that. That's just logic. This is you guys' problem. When you treat bad faith actors, when you legitimize these people's arguments, you look stupid. You look dumb. Trying to bring a known criminal in step with the law. Trying to bring a known con man in step with the law. Trying to bring a man who has openly been found guilty, openly have admitted to conning. You're trying to bring, he's not, the people he surrounds himself with are not noble, loyal people. These people are actively trying to destroy your government, and you're trying to use the law to keep people who are now the law themselves. You're asking them, like, when have they ever been morally consistent? It is stupid. Once you give a criminal the keys to the kingdom, the keys to the law, the only way to bring him in step with the law is for him to no longer exist. Liars are going to lie. This is the issue. We have a government where, and they know this, the Trump administration, these people know this. They know that we don't have justice in this country. We have procedure. And through the political process, through procedure, you can change the law. You can change it. You can get it to say something different. That's all they're doing in these cases. All they're doing, like, these guys aren't trying to win anything noble. These guys aren't fighting for anything. They're just trying to frustrate the fight for people who are trying to fight for something real. That's all these guys are doing. All they want to do is frustrate the fight for people who are fighting for something real. Because that's all that being a bad, evil person is. All that being a bad, evil person is, you don't have to stand for anything. You just have to frustrate the plans of those who do stand for something. And so I'm telling you guys, a constitutional convention will solve everything. Well, how are we going to do that? Very simple, bro. Give me one state governor who's real, and I will invite all the best people of the country to say, and that's the other thing. We aren't listening to the best ideas. We're just listening to parties right now. We're just listening to the right, the left. We're not listening to the best ideas. Our politicians don't stand for anything. We can reimagine a government where it's not based upon party, it's based upon philosophy. We put our values into law. We write our values into law with a new constitution, and then we create a political process to where the path to power, one, is long, so that way it's not, you can't just buy your way there, one, but two, it's not built off party affiliation. It's built off of philosophy. Our politicians don't believe in anything. The only thing our politicians believe in is power. This is why the Democrats will tell you that Donald Trump is a fascist for 4 straight years and then peacefully transfer power to him. This is why out one side of their mouth, they'll go, oh, he's violating the Constitution, but hey, we need to show him that in 2026, we mean business. 2026, bitch. Like, if he's violating the law today, why are we going to wait to 2026 to vote him out? Why would he let us vote him out? You're in the government today. You're supposed to do something about people breaking the law today. This is why we can't go. There's no path forward. People don't understand. This United States Constitution is dead, and the United States government killed it. We did not kill the Constitution. I explained this in the logic behind civil unrest. The logic behind civil unrest is very simple. When the government, through its own actions, destroy its civil institutions, there are no more civil institutions. Everybody right now is pretending. We're all pretending. And I don't think it's that necessarily that we're all pretending, but I think we, the people, are the ones that are upholding civility. Our government is not upholding civility. So since we're already carrying the weight of the responsibility of leading the country, fuck these bitch ass niggas, bro. Get them the fuck out of here, and let's rewrite the rules together. Let's do it all together. Let's create a country that works for all of us. We have no reason to continue to use this. We can't go back. It's not possible to go back. We can't unsee. Donald Trump has hollowed out what it means to be president of the United States. The judicial branch, by giving the president absolute immunity in almost any situation, has taken the teeth out of the judicial branch. And the legislative branch is nothing but a group of people pleasers. They're just gonna say whatever the most powerful person in the room is. There is no checks and balances. It's just a bunch of power hungry people pleasing people. That's it. That is the entirety of the United States government. A bunch of corrupt people pleasers. So if we get a new constitution, we call it Constitutional Convention, it's gonna fix all our problems. All right, love you guys. Bye.